one day it's Venezuela, one day it's Iran, and here he's got Israel driving it. Do you believe that we should be standing for certain principles or not?
Radeep, I've said this in the past that we have always stood for certain principles in world affairs. The Panchsheel Doctrine enunciates all these principles also. The UN Charter does so. But there are 193 countries which could say it. How many of them have stood up and said it? And why don't they do so? Because they have made a calculation, which is the prerogative of a sovereign government, that they have bigger fish to fry, they have bigger interests at stake in these relationships, and that if the price of articulating such a principled condemnation of the American action is that they will antagonize an America they feel they can't afford to antagonize on other issues, then as a government, they can decide not to do this. Look, we took the same line on Russia. You remember that in Parliament, when the Russians invaded Ukraine, I criticized the government of India for not articulating these principles and condemning the Russian invasion. A couple of years later, when our Prime Minister went to Moscow and hugged President Putin and went to Kyiv 2 weeks later and hugged President Zelensky, I had to admit that his silence turned out to have the strategic benefit that we were able to keep open channels of communication to both sides in that conflict. So you have to, it's difficult for us sitting outside a government to second guess their choices.